Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 17, text 15. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat sadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Translation. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Can you speak a little softer? Translation. You can't. They cannot hear you. Microphone louder. Purport. One should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hita. Can you please, Mama? Can you please ask your daughter to not speak loud? Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat Swadhyaya vyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Now, this is called austerity, but actually it's a pleasure to speak like this. To speak words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others, and to recite the Vedic literature. But when we are accustomed to speak material things, material topics, speak about material topics, then it may be austerity to start with, but gradually it becomes a pleasure. Just like this. To press with something. So, I'll give you back. I have to speak from memory because it doesn't want to stand. Okay, maybe I'll open it again. This verse is instruction in communication, but I think this is not only for spiritual people. This is just common sense communication by anyone. Any sane person, any civilized person can follow these instructions by Krishna in the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and refine his language, perfect his language. Fine speech is described in the 34th verse of the 10th chapter of this same book as one of the 6 qualities of women. Krishna says that 6 qualities represent him amongst women. One of them is fine speech. But fine speech is not only for women, it's for everyone. An opposite of fine speech is harsh speech. In Sanskrit it's called durukti. And we have all experience of harsh speech. How many of you have experience of someone talking to you harshly? Some are lazy to raise their hand. How many of you have experience of talking yourself harshly? Now there will be less hands. Oh my God, you're so honest. It was almost the same number. So we also sometimes speak harshly and hurt people, and we were hurt by people. And there is amazing verses in our other books which say how painful it is when somebody insults you, especially if it's a close person. You never forget. How could you say that? You said that I stink. And I just put the perfume. But even this is not such a hurtful insult to the body. But when they say you are stupid, that's even worse. Or if they say, I hate you. Recently, sometimes things pop up on Facebook, on the side, or from somewhere, or on your news feed. And I saw an article which explains that 5 phrases that your husband or partner says that show that he doesn't love you anymore. So now I'm not going to tell you which they are. Because it may be risky for your relationship. But if you're interested, you can find it on the internet. It's heavy stuff. It's something that people actually usually say. Even they say to pacify the wife. But experts say that this phrase is a symptom that he doesn't care anymore. He doesn't love you anymore. So we are all sensitive to words. And in America, I was once in Florida, and somebody told me that Americans are straightforward. They tell to your face what they think. So when I was giving class, I said, okay, you Americans, you are very straightforward in telling people what you think, but are you straightforward in hearing from others what they think of you? There was silence in the audience. There was 30 people, maybe 40. Nobody said anything. So if you're bold enough to tell people to their face, you should be bold enough to be told to your face also. Why? Because words are very powerful. The sound is very powerful. And maybe you remember nursery rhymes when you were a kid, or a lullaby, like when someone was singing to you so you can fall asleep when you were small. Or you remember the fights between your father and mother, which were very severe sometimes. And these are 2 different experiences. One is very pleasant and one is very unpleasant. You have chair there. You can sit on the chair. You can make a little space. And also, you can also sit, yes. Now, before I continue to speak about communicating with others, these same instructions can be used in how you talk to yourself. You can check. how do you talk to yourself, your inner dialogue, your thinking? Thinking is inner dialogue. You talk to yourself all the time. You explain to yourself different things. You see something and you have explanatory style. And so we all have experience of a negative inner dialogue. We can hear some criticism of ourselves or of others, or we can hear that our mind tells us, you can't do that, you're useless. And these negative thinking patterns are developed from the childhood. When we hear negative messages from our teachers or our parents or our siblings, and we it gets imprinted in our consciousness, and it becomes like our way of thinking. And maybe you have that experience yourself, or you have seen other people being very negative. Now, the good news is that you can take charge of this inner dialogue. You don't have to listen to this negative nonsense all the time. You can choose what you think. You can even choose what you feel. And of course you can choose what you desire. And this requires practice. It doesn't go overnight. If I see someone's face which looks long face, depressed, that means that within the mind, within the head of this person, there is a negative inner dialogue. This person has some kind of negative thoughts, including criticism of oneself, of others, or a feeling of incapability, hopelessness, discouragement, maybe you are insulted, and so many negative thoughts. And so many negative emotions and so many negative energies are there that we can use to make our life miserable. On the other hand, there is also very positive thoughts, positive sound vibration that we can also use. And this is why we stress so much sound of chanting the mantras, which are highly positive. They are actually spiritual and at the same time positive. And they have an amazingly soothing effect on our consciousness, on our feelings, on our heart, on our mind. So by practice, you can replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Recently in Croatia, I gave a seminar called My Dear Mind. And I used that phrase, which I heard from one of our acharyas, our teachers in the disciplic succession, the father of Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He has a book which has 80% of his verses start with My Dear Mind. So when you try to control your mind, you can actually address the mind like this. If the mind speaks some kind of nonsense, if the mind is negative, you can say, My dear mind, please cooperate. Please help me. This kind of thinking doesn't help my success. And then see what happens. I tried it and it works for me and worked for some of my friends or clients also. Every mind has a story. And this story is created from the past. And then this story goes on again and again. How to say? Frequently, people come to me and they say, I don't know if I can do it. Anything that they want to do. So they feel incapable, but actually they are very capable. You can see by different symptoms how they're capable, but they feel incapable, because there is this inner dialogue, there is this story that they tell themselves, or their mind tells them, you can't do it, it's impossible, you're incapable. Recently I encountered some knowledge, some books about coaching, helping people, and it was really something new and fresh, something I haven't seen in 17 years of studying this literature. And I was so inspired, and I read the 3 books from the author and many articles and listened to the interviews. And then I saw that they have training courses. And I look at the courses, they're in the United Kingdom, and they're in the United States. And they're expensive. £1,000. So what is the first thought when you see an expensive course and you are almost penniless? You tell me, what is the first thought? What? Oh no. Disappointment, no chance, hopelessness. I can't get on the course. What else? Frustration. Frustration slowly degenerates into depression, and then you start to take pills. So I had all these negative experiences in about 15 seconds. I used to have them longer before, but now they become shorter by practice. And then I said, what could I do to get on the course? Some of you who are good businessmen, you would think, well, I could make money and pay for the course. Now, I don't like to pay for anything, because I also give everything for free. So my thought was not how can I make money and pay to these people. But I was thinking, how can I go on the course for free? And because I already did that before in England, I wrote to one lady in America and asked her, she looked like, actually I wrote to many of them and only she responded. And she happens to be the best trainer in the US in this system, elderly lady, and she was so kind. She said, you can come to my course in California. And I said, wow, thank you so much. You were so kind. But I would lose all my wealth paying for the ticket to California, even though your course would be free. But can you ask your friends in England? They also have courses. Would they let me go for free? And she said, sure I can, no problem. Just I will send an email. And within several days, she says, they said, what? No? Yes? Who believes that they said yes? Who believes that they said no? Only 3 people believe they said no. So yes wins. So, what is stated in the Bible? Ask and you shall receive. So how do you know that something is impossible? Until you ask. So this is related to our discussion today, because my habit of a negative inner dialogue could have prevailed and tell me it's impossible, and I could believe it. But I didn't believe it, because for the past 15 years I'm just beating my head with coaching principles and coaching mindsets, and I knew this trick that if you ask at least 50% there is a chance that you can go for free. I already went on another course, another company in England, and the lady who ran it, he said, "Come, but don't tell anybody you go for free." So I did that, and it was great. It was 3 days. It's called Brain-Friendly Learning, this course. And this course that I'm going in February is called Time to Think Partnership, Thinking Partnership, or Time to Think. So, can you understand how, if you don't allow your mind to limit you, to obstruct you, then possibilities open. Possibilities open. So this inner dialogue is so important, to take charge of the inner dialogue. Then another instance, which is frequent in our lives, we get a message or we got an email, and it's really irritating. You feel like strangling this person, you feel like even beating up this person, you're feeling almost maybe, God forbid, killing this person. And what do? You feel, now I'm going to tell them all my frustrations, even not related to them, because they provoked me. And you write this amazing email, which is 6 pages long, proving how you are right from all angles of vision, and how they are wrong, and how they are bad. But if you have experience with these kinds of emails, you let this email sleep overnight. In tomorrow, with a fresh mind, you still feel frustration from yesterday, but you're a little bit more cool, and you read it and you say, this is too heavy. So you try to tone it down. And you think, now it's almost too soft. So you go to a friend, and they say, oh, you know what? This is still too heavy. You say, but I want to get through my message. Well, okay, I don't mind. I'm into it also. But you may actually jeopardize, like compromise your purpose. Your purpose is to communicate and to maybe, come to some kind of a positive agreement or solution. So you may actually affect or obstruct your own goal to do something with this communication. And then you try to polish it even more. So then you see that, wow, my God, I was so lucky to not click send. You had this experience that you were really grateful to God or to anybody you believe in that I didn't press send. It could have created a disaster. Now with text messages or Facebook chat, it's difficult because it's very fast and you send it. So before you click send, before you press enter, always think how this will benefit them, how this will benefit me. Is it human? Is it devotional? Is it right to do now? Now in the inner dialogue, what you do is you torture yourself, or you allow your mind to torture you. You allow your mind to torture you. What is the extreme torture? The most extreme torture is the best solution is suicide. This is extreme of the extremes. This will solve all my problems. So this is how material energy cheats us to harm ourselves through the mind. But if you know this, yesterday I had a seminar about Avanti Brahmana, and he was speaking about the mind. He says the power of the mind is unlimited. It's godlike power. So it's not a joke dealing with the mind. So therefore we can use this verse to develop a high-class inner dialogue. words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to you, and always having spiritual content in the mind. Vedic literature, Bhagavad Gita. Make sure you think spiritual thoughts. Yeah. Then in the next verse it is said, think of the welfare of others. Think how to benefit others. Think how to help others. Think of the stories. Think of the philosophical points in the scriptures, which are all meant to make us better people, better devotees, better human beings, and to make our life easier. So much of our life depends on communication. And this verse is teaching us how to communicate in a spiritual and positive way. So make sure you can practice this inner dialogue, and also you can practice communicating with others in a beneficial, positive way, like Krishna is instructing here. We don't want to agitate the minds of others, but sometimes we have to be strong, we have to be strict, but we make sure it is not done from the place of the heart which is full of envy. But make sure that if I'm strict, this is coming from compassion and love. Then we will not destroy the relationship, we will not be an instrument of tons of negative energy, but we will try to urge the person, warn the person, or help the person, even if we are strict. So being a spiritual communicator doesn't always mean being soft. Sometimes we have to be strict. But how do we do it makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. It is said that words go deeper than any arrow can go. Harsh words go deeper. And people never forget that you have insulted them with sharp words. So therefore, think before you speak or write or communicate in any way. Will it benefit them? Will it benefit you? What result do you want? In the scriptures we have Prithu Maharaj, whose speech was glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It was very meaningful and beneficial for everyone, inspiring, very deep. So we can practice speaking meaningful words, relating wisdom instead of some shallow nonsense. I have seen amongst devotees and other people that some people have lost a taste for shallow conversations. One friend was writing me, wants to talk to me, and I said that I'm not enthusiastic to speak about material things. I'm interested in spiritual conversations. So if you want people to leave you alone who are not interested, just tell them I'm interested in spiritual conversations. Is that hard? If someone is chasing you because they like how you look, you can tell them, I'm interested in spiritual conversations. Then you can say, well, you like me, but I'm not this body. I like you too, you have a nice shape, but this shape will deform soon. So immediately you kill all romanticism that is based on the body. And in this way you will get a high quality husband or wife who is not only into how you look, but also what you think, how you feel, and to connect to your soul. One boy came to me once and said, Prabhu, I found my soulmate. I like her soul. And I said, who is she? And he said, well, she's in front of the door. And I said, bring her in. And she's coming in. She looks like an angel. And he tells me that he's attracted to her soul. So how can I believe him? He was trying to convince me that it's a spiritual relationship and that he is attracted only to her soul, because he knew that I'm strict about this point. So he said, I'm only it's spiritual attraction. And then when she left, I said, Prabhuji, there is an old lady. She has a beautiful soul. I love this lady myself. I know she has a beautiful soul. So would you fall in love with her? And he got red in the face. He wasn't sure. So if you want to have a deeper relationship, then it shouldn't be only based on the body. If you want to have deeper conversations, they shouldn't be only about the body, even not only about the mind. I was thinking, I don't know what you think about this idea, I was thinking about starting a mind academy. How many of you like this idea? So, you didn't even hear the purpose of the academy, but I will tell you now, and probably there will be more hands up. The purpose of the academy would be to help people to develop a beautiful mind. What do you think about that? Why? If you have a beautiful mind, then your behavior will be beautiful. Isn't it? And then, relationship will be more beautiful, and people can work together. So, people need this tool called the mind. And if we have an academy based on Srila Prabhupada's teachings to develop a beautiful mind, then people can have a better behavior, better feeling, and better life. And also, which is most important, they can have spiritual inclination, spiritual life. So the mind, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, is the cause of all problems and of our repeated birth and death. We discussed this in the seminar yesterday. Our own mind is actually keeping us imprisoned in this world. And therefore we can use this verse to train our mind to always be truthful, to always be pleasing, beneficial, not agitating, and always have spiritual content. Always have spiritual content. Then our mind will be peaceful. So thank you very much for listening. We have about 5 minutes for questions. If you have any questions about this topic, yes?
Question about communication, about how to speak pleasing and beneficial. So I have this collection of non-violence communication, which
it's a book?
No, it is just collected from internet, and my friend collected. And
like guidelines or something?
Yeah, some sentence, some small things, how to say respectful no, or how to say he's talking nonsense, or like these things. And I would like to train this because I have a harsh speaking. But the question is, it is not this behavior which I have, this harsh behavior, it is not because of my hard heart maybe, because my heart is not soft enough, or it is maybe I have lack of communication skills maybe. So how to work on the external, or first transform the heart, and the speech will automatically speak.
I would work on both
sides.
Both sides, yeah. Don't wait. Work on both sides. Like in Krishna consciousness, we work on our behavior immediately, and on our understanding. Trying to realize, trying to imbibe, assimilate what we learn, and change of heart. But if you change your heart, if you change your thinking, this is why I was spend most of this class speaking that this should be applied to our inner dialogue, because then your behavior will be not harsh if you follow this discipline. And this requires practice. And if you make a mistake, you can apologize. But better always stop and breathe in. Okay. Hare Krishna. I love you, but to you. You really irritate me. Akrura Prabhu said we should smile and be parlare dolcemente. I don't know in German how you say speak sweetly. Sprech? Sweetly? Yeah, in German. Schönreden. Is that right? Or kindly? Angenehm? Okay. Parler gentiment in French. Et de Besed in Hungarian. Speak sweetly, speak kindly, even when you don't feel like. And you have to be strict. Then try to be strict with love. Then maybe it has better effect. But if some very mean person is there, then you can use all your unused anger and frustration and use it in service of killing evil. But even that you can do something about it in a softer way, I think. You can see, I mean, it depends how you want to act. There was amazing examples that people started shouting and the person was listening and they were accusing him and saying so many bad words, and then slowly this person slow down and calm down and tone down the volume. You want to translate?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You're finished. And this other person was listening, and then this person changed their mood. They started saying, "What am I doing?" And they started crying. They said, "I'm so rude." So complete transformation simply by listening. Can you imagine this? Just listening with, compassion. The person was so angry and accusatory, blaming, insulting. And this person continued to listen with compassion, and the person completely transformed, started to apologize, started to cry, wanted to hug the other person, to apologize, to offer obeisances. So this is one way you can deal with harshness, but another way is to take a big baseball, how you call it? Bat? And then explain to them philosophically that you're not going to tolerate this kind of communication skills, harsh speech. Maybe you don't use it, but just say, "No, I try to be nice with you, but I have this here and I might use it. If you continue like this." But it's not for devotees very much. This is just practical if you meet a demon or something. Yes?
But what if we find harsh statements in the scriptures also? Because in the verse you were reading from Bhagavad Gita, it says that our discussions should be based on Shastra. So we can also, in such a fight, sometimes people just take out verses and throw them at each other. So we can also find harsh statements in the scriptures.
God bless you. Why? Because today I was thinking about this, and I didn't even plan to say it now, but now you're enabling me to say something very important came to me during morning meditation. Mantra meditation, not meditation on my nose or on the fire, light of the fire. That the negative statements in the scriptures actually are not negative, they are warnings. They are warnings. They are warnings against the danger of something. We take them as negative because for us it sounds like this, and externally it sounds like this. But the mood in which this was written or spoken is actually to warn us of the danger in the material world, different things, and different illusions, and different bad things that we might get attracted to. So I felt this is right. This is right. Why would a person like Srila Prabhupada be negative? He's super positive. He's so compassionate. He wants us to be happy. So why would he just, be accused to be a criticizer and an insulter of people? No, he didn't do any negative talk out of envy, but he did it out of compassion to warn people that this is not good. At least this was my understanding and my realization. So I don't know if this answers your question, but I just wanted to share this. Okay? Yes? I think she was before you.
The question is, how can you be more conscious of your thoughts? Because often it seems things happen rather unconscious, automatically in the mind. So
Great question. Yeah, great question. By practice. There is no shortcut. Start observing your thoughts, put them on paper, write them down. You can make a book, negative poetry. And then observe it. And see if you like it. So yes, we don't invite this. These like amazing thoughts, like super bad or something. They come, but the difference between people with higher consciousness and the lower consciousness is not that they don't have the same thoughts, but how they deal with them. How they deal with them. So you need to practice and associate with people who practice this. They will give you more tools. I can also give you some tools, but I need your email to send you some books and articles and links. And then you can study more about this. But also in the scriptures you can find how to think, how to feel. Regarding feelings, I want to show you on a gross level how you can change your feelings. And what to speak if you change your paradigms and conceptions. You can also change your feelings if you change the way you see things. But just by changing the bodily posture, you can change how you feel. Please get up. This is called depression yoga. Raise your arms and try to be depressed. Try your best. Some will be more successful than the others. Try to feel very bad, frustrated. You can make also a face like this. Now do this dance step called Swami step and double your depression.
That's possible.
You are not good depression students. Not good. Now start chanting Hare Krishna and triple your depression. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bad students, you are not depressed. Come on. So thank you very much.